So look, we've seen Jadon Sancho moving away and also come back into form. And it does see that there will be more maybe little birdies flying the nest in Old Trafford as the rat starts to go in and nibble at the little eggs. Andrew, that's what we're going to come to you about as well, because of course the rat hasn't been ratified yet. Excuse me. But these are some of the, let's just say, some people would say fluffing and so on that's gone on with English media. It's really, really depressing and worrying. This is one from the US Sun about who is Dave Brailsford. We know who he is. It's funny they've not called him Sir Dave Brailsford. He is a Sir as well, same as Sir Jim, same as the original Sir Jim as well. And of course, this is from last October, and this is someone who actually took it on, Nathan, who said, this is strange because, this man was involved in some really nasty things in British cycling. And Team Sky is still a team in his credit years. Now he's going to be coming in. Looks like he's going to be ruling the roost in Manchester United. Andrew, you've got 2 minutes to give your take on the takeover.
Well, firstly, I'm pleased this ridiculous saga is over. It's been 13 months since the Glazers started a ridiculously named strategic review. So that alone is relief for most Manchester United fans. The fan base is split on, well, the issue for months was, will it be Sheikh Jassim from Qatar, who wanted to go all in, buy out the whole club? Ratcliffe and Ineos didn't want to pay for 100% of the shares. They wanted to go for about 70% of them, I think. This is frustrating because, as everybody will know by now, the well-quoted figures are that Sir Jim Ratcliffe will take control of 25% of the shares, but most importantly, the sporting side. What does that mean? How can you control the sporting side if you don't control the purse? I mean, that doesn't make much sense to me. Anyway, that's the slight uncertainty. I'm pleased on one level. Sir Dave Brailsford is very well connected. He likes to hobnob a lot. He likes to have a lot of connections. And quite frankly, Manchester United need that. It is so well known how poor Manchester United have been at recruitment, at transfer dealings, at appointment, knowing when to get rid of talent, how to offload talent for the most price. And I think what Brailsford has admitted is that he knows very little about football. That will concern some people, but I actually don't think that matters. I think if he brings in the right people, and that is generally the way he's done things in other sports, then that can only be a good thing on the sporting front. Off the pitch, as you allude to, that is what concerns me. We know the very, very famous marginal gains phrase, which is basically him covering up for what could be all manner of sins. And a lot of people have said, well, some of those sins are enough to shortly disbar him from serving in sport. If he doesn't know much about football, the only intellect he can add is a side that is not generally well understood within football circles, or at least not accepted to be understood. Perhaps within the game it is, but on the outside, not so much. And that's what worries me. What will it bring?
Isolt, come back on that. You've got a minute to come back. Andrew, we're just slightly over 2 minutes, but still he kept it well done. So, minute for you.
I suppose the main thing I would take from what Andrew has said, and I think it's a very important point at the outset, is how can you control the sporting side of a football club in particular unless you are controlling the purse strings? Because otherwise, and obviously it's Sir Dave coming in, otherwise how are you planning on improving performance and getting better results if you don't have that level of control over the money? And marginal gains may have something to do with it. Let's see how that goes. I do think there's a very important point though to also be recognised in the fact that this has been a problem with United historically, and one that, when the owners had their man in charge of the purse strings, recruitment has been slow. It has also not just been slow, but they have poorly recruited, which is a different thing altogether. When you give money and still can't recruit well, it shows that there is a failure somewhere along the lines with both talent recruitment, but also how they're approaching making deals, and whether other clubs, when they're approached by Man United, have been taking a certain view. Again, Sir Dave Brailsford brings a network that's across sports. Ineos and his connections will be invaluable to Man United, no matter what way you look at it. Whether you take a view that, are we going to have to endure marginal gains, and the idea that it's, sleeping on different pillowcases that will lead to improved results all of a sudden with the same squad, I don't think it will be. But I think this is a really interesting time. And if we disregard Jiffy Bag's questionable medical practices and mobile phones and laptops disappearing. If we disregard all of that, and I know I'm going over a minute, but I think what we will potentially see is the fact that people at the highest level of sports coaching and performance management, it doesn't matter what sport they're in, because they can do that across the board. So I often find it funny when I see David Humphreys appointed.
Over the minute, well over a minute. Look, I'll put it like this. Yesterday, and I wrote about it yesterday as well. Yesterday, we took Tim to the gym. He's building up to go back into playing rugby. He's back in September after his back injury. Took him in. He had a second training, sitting after change. So I went into the shower. A personal trainer who was there, like huge, like, bodybuilder, weightlifter kind of guy, like, just souped up. And so he was in the showers near me. I came back in. When I was drying off and changing, and just putting my shoes on, he'd come out and he'd already dried off, put on shorts, and he was standing sort of across from the locker where Tim and I were sitting. Tim was sitting on his phone like this, and the guy was standing in front of him. Guy takes out a syringe, a prepared syringe, gives himself one little testo boost and a second testo boost in his distended stomach. Afterwards, I said to him, "Did you see it?" I was like, "No, what was it?" And I'm thinking, so I've taken my son into a gym to get him back on track, and this is what he sees from a personal trainer, someone who people would pay money to come and be trained by. Now, we've all seen this, and I've seen this many times before, and this killed me, because I'm thinking, I know what these people do. I've seen it when I've told my tennis players, my footballers, stay away from these people. Don't go near them, because they will get you juicing. So when we're looking at Dale's Brailsford, he achieved superb results in cycling, superb results on track as well, as in cycling on the track. There's only one way you could beat the dopers, and that's to dope better. And of course, to have better pillows, to take 3 kilo toilet breaks and so on. So this is the thing. But again, it's something that, yes, he can cross over, he can do it, but how he's going to do it, one thing we'll say is that it's worrying, but well, that's football.